As stop-start lockdown restrictions across India have hampered activity across many industries, but some have grown despite the odds. This is the final story in our series on the impact of the pandemic on India's economy. Rebecca Bundan reports.
This pharmaceutical company saw its revenues increase by 30% in the past financial year, and it's expecting a similar rise in business this year. Pharmaceuticals specialises in eye and skincare products. It says it boosted its online marketing efforts as the pandemic hit. This helped to generate sales of its eye drops and ointments to treat conditions including infections. Helped by continued demand for medicines, the company's been relatively immune to the broader economic impact of the crisis.
I think one thing that the pandemic has shown is the resilience of the Indian pharmaceutical industry. Despite the only problem that did happen was during the first lockdown in the middle of 2020, where there was supply chain issues and disruptions. But despite that, the market still kind of grew. We were still in a growth phase, and it picked up pretty well from June 2020 onwards.
Pharmaceuticals is one of the few sectors that have enjoyed growth in India during the pandemic, even though the knock-on effects of COVID-19 plunged the country into recession in 2020. India's GDP contracted by 7.3%, according to the latest full-year statistic available. A recent deadly second wave of infections derailed what looked like a promising start to an economic recovery. And that same wave, which led to fresh restrictions, has prompted economists to lower their growth forecasts for this year.
You can say impact has been harder in a lot of sectors where obviously related to people going out, etc. So for example, let's say hospitality sector, hotels, restaurants, movie theaters, or airlines. So it's a very clear-cut differentiation that there are some segment of the economy that have done well, while some segment have not.
IT companies, part of what is a $200 billion industry in India, are also benefiting, with businesses becoming more dependent on technology as people have been forced to work from home. This Indian software firm saw its net profit surge 74% in the past fiscal year, as the pandemic reduced its expenses and business from its clients remained strong.
Travel cost, infrastructure cost, etc. became lower, and that increased the profitability also. And there is a huge surge in requirements because after seeing the pandemic, everybody is thinking in terms of digitizing their businesses.
Agriculture has also performed well during the pandemic and is expected to continue to thrive. Official figures show its contribution to the wider economy grew by more than 6% in the past year to over $480 billion as demand for essential goods continued. India's sluggish economy remains a concern, and the pandemic is still putting a strain on the country. But according to analysts, industries that have proved resilient so far can expect to continue to see healthy growth. Rebecca Bundan, CNA, Mumbai.